Hello, and welcome to an information session on Monroe Township's pilot program for alternative pathways in world language. I am going to share my screen so that you can see the information that I have prepared. But at the end of this, if you have any questions, particularly questions that relate specifically to your child and their program at the high school, please feel free to contact me either by email or by phone. And my contact information will be at the bottom of the email that contained this presentation. It is also on the last slide of this presentation. So let's get started. All right. So again, this is the presentation and information session on world language alternative pathways to graduation. And in the 2021-2022 school year, we are going to be running a pilot program. So, our world language program consists of comprehensive language study in French, Italian, Latin, or Spanish. Students begin their world language study in third grade through an exploration program in Spanish. They continue Spanish in sixth grade, and then in seventh grade, students have the opportunity to also select from Italian or French. Beginning at the high school, students may also elect to study Latin. We have AP courses available in French, Italian, and Spanish. This year will be our fifth year participating in the New Jersey Seal of Biliteracy program, in which students can take a proficiency assessment and earn a distinction that they are biliterate in another language. The test includes reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Students receive a seal on their transcript, and it does denote this distinction in their final transcript to colleges. So while a minimum of 2 years is the graduation requirement at Monroe Township High School, 4 years of world language is preferable and desired by many college programs. So our current graduation requirements, New Jersey requires 1 year of world language study, which is 5 credits. Most New Jersey high schools, Monroe included, have a local requirement of 2 years, which is 10 credits. And again, colleges and universities are looking for 3 to 4 continuous years of study in the same language, which is the equivalent of 15 to 20 credits. Most of our most competitive students do take 4 years of a world language and often seek the New Jersey Seal of Biliteracy. So this pilot program offers two alternative pathways to fulfilling the graduation requirement for world language. The first is to take a proficiency assessment. So this is for native and heritage speakers of a language to demonstrate proficiency through a language assessment. And I'm going to give some more specific details on that in the next slide. The second pathway is to participate in a language study course or program. This might be community-based or through a church organization, also through a community or four-year college in a language that is not offered at Monroe Township High School. So let's talk a little bit more about the specifics with these pathways. So to demonstrate proficiency, this would be by a native or a heritage speaker. So a native speaker is someone who spoke another language as their first and primary before they learned English or before they learned a second language. And a heritage speaker has learned a language by growing up with the language spoken as a second language in the home. These individuals are essentially raised biliterate, but it was not the dominant language for their communication at home or at school or in their social life. So in order to take a placement assessment, you would register to do so through the registration form in the email. The cost of the assessment is paid by the families. If proficiency is demonstrated, the course would appear as a pass or fail on the student's transcript, and it does not factor into their GPA. So proficiency must also be demonstrated through one of the state and locally approved assessments. Currently, this is the APPLE, the OPT and WPT, the STAMP assessment. Um, the only unfortunate thing about this is that we are limited in the languages that we can assess because we do have to have an approved assessment in order to determine students' ability to read, write, speak, and listen in that second language. So the second alternative pathway is to pursue the study of a language that is not offered at Monroe Township High School. So we offer French, Italian, Latin, and Spanish. So it would need to be a language other than those. This could be a traditional in-person program, could be an online program, or classes taken at a community or four-year college. Prior approval is required in order to pursue this alternative pathway, and that will go through the registration form. So the courses must run concurrent to the school year. At this time, summer courses are not permitted for the alternative pathway. The syllabus must meet or exceed the New Jersey Student Learning Standards for World Language. And if proficiency is not demonstrated during the course, so there might not be projects or tests during the course, then a student would be required to demonstrate additional proficiency. All of that would be communicated to parents and students during the approval process. Again, costs for these programs would be paid by families, and the course would appear on the transcript as a pass or fail, and it does not factor into the GPA. So students can do this type of program in addition to the languages that they study at Monroe Township High School. So for example, a student who might go to a Greek school and they study Greek twice a week, and they take assessments, they have projects, the program runs from October through May. They might want to seek this alternative program, and they might continue to study Spanish in school in addition to taking their Greek classes outside of school, and both would earn them credits toward graduation. And in another situation, a student attends a Hindi school and they go to these classes multiple days a week, or even if it was, once a week. The syllabus has been approved, and this student chooses to use those Hindi classes and that Hindi program in lieu of taking a language at the high school. So they open up some room in their schedule to take other courses, particularly courses that might only be offered 1 or 2 blocks, where their schedule can become a little bit tight, but they are still fulfilling their world language requirement outside of school. So those are 2 examples of the types of programs that could be offered. So the advantages to the alternative pathways. First, and this is very important to me, is to honor our linguistically and culturally diverse community. Monroe Township is made up of um, a lot of different languages and cultures, and there are students who come to us who are already biliterate, and they celebrate biculturalism, and we want to ensure that students can literally receive credit for that. It allows students to study multiple languages. The study of language and culture allows us to engage with those around us and in a global society, and really put students at an advantage, not only in academics, but also in the workplace. It provides students taking double block courses additional room in their schedule. Some of our math and science classes that are double blocks can lock up schedules a little bit. So this is one way to open them up. It can allow students to accelerate their study of a language. And it provides opportunity to take a course in a non-traditional setting. So a student who elects to take a language course through a comprehensive online program, or a student who decides to take a language course at Middlesex County College, or even Rutgers University. These are experiences that really benefit students and allow them to gain opportunities and advantages. So next school year, which is the 2021-2022 school year, we are going to have a pilot group. It is limited to those students whose parents responded to a survey that was sent back in December. So we have a limited pilot group so that we can make sure we really support students going through this program before we open it up to everybody. Students, the survey had been sent to parents of students who would be entering ninth through 12th grades next year. And we did get several responses, and you were one of those responses, which is why you've been receiving this information. So if you are interested in participating, please complete the registration form that was linked in the email that contained this PowerPoint presentation, and the slide deck also contains the link again. If you are choosing, oh, this is important actually, you want to be logged in through the student Microsoft account, because the form requires some uploading of documentation, and you'll only be able to do that if you're logged into the student's Microsoft account. If you have any difficulties with that, please just email me. If you are choosing the first alternative pathway, which is where you take a test to demonstrate proficiency, and that can count as a year of world language, on the registration form, there's nothing else that you'll need to do. You'll just indicate that you are looking to satisfy a year of world language because you are a native or a heritage speaker through taking an assessment, and then I'll communicate the next steps in that in the coming weeks and months. If you are choosing the second alternative pathway, which is participation in a program outside of Monroe Township High School in a language that we do not offer, you are asked to upload and link the necessary documentation, including a course description and syllabus that will need to be analyzed and evaluated for its correlation to the New Jersey Student Learning Standards. And then you will hear back from me about whether or not the course does satisfy the requirements set forth by our local school district. The deadline for registration is Friday, February 5th. And the reason for that is that we need to review all of the materials that are submitted to us, and we need to work with the school counselors and students to make sure that everything is set up for the next school year. But please, if you have any difficulty with the registration form, or you're not sure which documentation you should be submitting, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I can help you with that. So I'd like to thank you for listening to this presentation. If you have specific questions, please reach out. Email is probably the best way to make a first contact. My email address is there, but you are more than welcome to also call my office and leave a voicemail, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So thank you so much, and I look forward to having a great pilot group and really continuing to expand options for our students. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.